Well, right now we are on the government keynote, wherein how India's inclusive AI national strategy can be executed to aim for citizens first. Well, of course, with us joining us back is Sharmishta Dasgupta, the Deputy Director General, National Informatics Center. Well, Sharmishta heads the Center of Excellence in Artificial Intelligence of the National Informatics Center. She has more than 15 years of experience in artificial intelligence, project solving, and project management at the National Informatics Center. Her work interests would comprise computer vision, natural language processing, conversational AI, deep learning, and high-speed computing. Thank you so much, Ms. Dasgupta, for joining us again. Over to you, ma'am. Ms. Dasgupta, if you can hear us.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Bhavna. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, Ms.
Hello.
Dasgupta, we can hear you now. We can.
Oh, thank you. Then I'll continue. Good morning, everybody. I will be speaking on how to empower through AI. Uh, we human have the intellect and the capacity to interact, understand, and the capability to undertake activities to create a progressively better world. Industrial revolution has helped us towards improving material aspects of comfortable living for the society. But not all in the society are equally fortunate for accessing these facilities as the resources are scarce, both to give to people and to monitor the activities. It is here that we need to cogitate how to spread the benefits to most citizens. What I will be speaking on is the techno managerial angle to fruitful implementations of inclusive AI national strategy for India. With artificial intelligence and cognitive sciences, we are poised to revolutionize at least the process of distribution of these resources to the deserving categories. To democratize this process, both computer vision and natural language processing plays important role as they help mimic human brain by being able to detect, classify, or recreate scenes and the narrative and assist human in decision making process when the data is voluminous. It can help predict trends and give recommendations. At present, however, the domain of this emerging technology is limited to narrow AI, meaning thereby it is restricted to the domains the AI model has been trained in. However, with the advent of deep reinforcement learning, generative adversarial networks, and innovative data science, researchers are pushing the frontiers towards generalized AI. Yet, we focus on the current scenario and how AI can benefit our Indian society in its development path. Our primary requirement is conversational AI in regional languages. It will benefit the citizens converse with government, public sector, and other organizations and make for a more transparent and inclusive society. But for that, we need millions of audio dumps in Indic languages and transcripted texts. It will help create a job avenue in an economy that is trying to pick up after COVID-19 lockdown. India needs to concentrate on other areas of AI too to help the critical sectors of the economy. So I will focus on few sectors. Small steps in right direction using emerging technologies may lead to giant leap for agriculture and farmers' welfare. With India being a country with a sizable population in agriculture and its allied industries, the next work is facilitating smart contracts for farmers to sell their produce. If these are facilitated along with bots to explain the procedures to agriculture farmers, then there is nothing to worry. Whether the poor farmer goes to APMC or private vendors to sell his produce, he can't be fleeced. System can help facilitating these through blockchain technologies and AI from field to market. So the other day I was reading about Smriti Irani were having introduced certification process for organic produce in cotton. So what happens is when you have the full from field to market chain of blockchain and AI, there is and then there is a world class certification and AI labs and researchers help the agriculture sector. You make a transformational change by which the farmers can also benefit and their situation can improve. AI can also help farmers in disease prediction through image analytics, and our NIC's Assam state unit is working on a paddy disease detection with Assam Agriculture University, Jorhat. There are many startups also working in this area as is ICAR. There can be also other areas where AI can make significant difference, like improving crop yield through cross-domain intelligence, integrating domains like weather forecasting, irrigation, soil health, fertilizer, and the like. Again, underlying these massive projects is collaborative effort and labeled or annotated data being made available over cloud infrastructure. NIC has also facilitated voice support in English and Hindi to PM Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana of Government of India, successfully getting around 1 lakh calls per day. Our vision is to work facilitating this community in all regional languages. For this part of the work, a part will be done in-house with the help of industry expert, like building the conversational AI engine, and part of help might be taken from startups who are good in these regional languages. So, and we wish to realize this goal in a reasonable time frame. Similarly, the next topic I take up, education. Create a thoughtful AI strategy in education. Similarly, no better time than this lockdown to appreciate the need for connecting to millions of children to conduct lessons online. Many educational companies have come out with virtual reality and augmented reality products to make learning a joyful exercise for children. Have a clear strategy on what the problem is we are trying to solve, whether it is all around development of the child or reaching out to more children. This will help us to focus our work towards it. Do not think I have to apply AI and try to use it somewhere. Instead, identify the problem and think out of the box as how this problem can be resolved. Don't expect immediate return of investment. Always remember, working with data and exploring models is a minimum 6 to 8 months job if you have been on this job for a couple of years, and maybe more if your organization is just starting out to adopt AI. NIC is working with state governments to facilitate proactive intervention with AI. Like NIC's Rajasthan state unit has worked towards using AI to predict school dropout rates based on a child's attendance and his socio-economic parameters and school teachers' qualifications and trends, like in Shala Darpan project, to predict and prevent school dropouts. Similarly, our Assam and Chhattisgarh state units have worked towards audiovisual to sign language conversion for children in Assamese and Hindi to help deaf and dumb children understand the language. There is still a lot of work to be done to facilitate the alphabet to such children in other languages. Work towards an effective data strategy. I'll take the case of healthcare. Similarly, in health sector, there are a lot of avenues from being able to automatically interpret radiological images to automatic handwriting recognitions in prescriptions to teleconsultancy and using automatic speech recognition tools to avoid mistakes in noting down doctor opinions, to automated monitoring of patient health for helping with personalized care for the sick and elderly. With intelligent workflows and AI interventions, for the options are just opening up to be able to serve more patients with minimum risk of error. NIC's Haryana State Unit has explored drug inventory forecasting for warehouses as per disease trends throughout the year to prevent drug expiry wastage. COE AI, Center of Excellence in AI, has tried AI modeling for COVID detection through chest X-rays and virtual OPD teleconsultancy services for a group of hospitals during COVID lockdown. While doing COVID detection through chest X-rays, we got 96% accuracy for COVID cases and around 90% for other classes using transfer learning models downloaded from the net. It was a 3-class classification, one for COVID, one for pneumonia and other cases other than COVID, and third class for normal. We use free images from public data sets from the net, which were not used in the transfer learning model, and a couple of thousand COVID images by different hospitals in India. Where we faced difficulty was normal chest X-rays as sent by hospitals. They were less than a couple of hundred, and they were getting diagnosed for COVID. It brought down normal class accuracy and it hovered around 86 to 87%. It may be that those who had been turned COVID negative but having ravages left for lung infection, etc., were being classified as normal category. We were we tried transfer learning for 2 to 3 models from net, but same predictions. Clearly, thousands of normal chest images were needed to customize it for Indian settings. This anomaly couldn't be corrected, and as we had only 150 of such normal chest images of Indians, so model couldn't autocorrect itself. Our alternate option was to get all chest X-ray images made available from hospitals annotated for all the three classes by radiologists, which was again a difficult exercise to get in COVID times, as there are only 10,000 practicing radiologists in India. So these are the learnings while doing AI implementation in a fast track mode with no legacy data available. We need to work out our data sources before starting on AI modeling, especially in health sector, because it is a very domain specific specialized work. Now, I'll be talking about the fintech sector. Start small, realize your potential, and move ahead. With machine learning being increasingly adopted by banking industry and more payment transactions being facilitated online going forward, AI can accurately discover customer patterns and can do real-time fraud monitoring, and banks are also using bots to facilitate customer user experience. Neural network and deep learning mimics human brain and get high accuracy, but being nonlinear function approximators with millions of variables, they are difficult to explain. On the other hand, machine learning, where the variables are chosen by domain experts, is a much more heuristic exercise requiring patience. However, it is much more explainable and hence adopted by the financial sector. As an organization, you need to identify your stakeholders, onboard them, and then work on problem at hand and decide course of action accordingly. At the start, you need to decide what are the plus points in the organization to facilitate AI. It depends on the size of the company, its budget, its existing line of business, and on the products they want to apply AI on. For example, if your company already has some employees with technical IT or similar expertise, it may be easier and convenient to train them in AI. Conversely, if your company doesn't have any employee who is tech savvy, it's probably better to hire new people with a stronger technical background. Like in NIC COE AI, we started with few NIC officials to take on AI, which was simply inadequate considering the e-governance infrastructure of Government of India. Then NIC started training their employees in state and central projects in-house and also through institutes of repute in batches. Undertook hackathons to encourage adoption of AI in the organization. In one of these AI hackathons, NIC's Kerala State Unit worked in the area of tax fraud detection in GSTN for various sectors. And NIC has also worked to facilitate bots for outreach in e-way bill, e-procurement, etc., which are two major G2C and G2B initiatives of Government of India. Do pilots and evolve broad-based consensus on the necessity of large and fast changes as required in some sectors, as in power sector. Universal access to affordable, reliable, and sustainable modern energy is one of the sustainable development goals. Artificial intelligence or AI has the potential to cut energy waste and lower energy costs and facilitate and accelerate the use of clean renewable energy sources in the power grids worldwide. AI can also help improve the planning, operation, and control of power systems. This AI technologies are closely tied to the ability to provide clean and cheap energy that is essential to development. Typical areas of applications are electricity trading, smart grids, heat and transport. Prerequisites for an increased use of AI in the energy systems are the digitalization of the energy sector and correspondingly large set of data that is available. AI can help to make the energy industry more efficient and secure by analyzing and evaluating the data volumes. With the increasing decentralization and digitalization of power grid, it is becoming more difficult to manage the large number of grid participants and keep the grid in balance. AI can help in detecting anomalies in generation, consumption, or transmission in near real time and then develop suitable solutions. How AI can help augment the National Power Portal. National Power Portal has been developed by NIC to help the power sector, industries, and the Government of India. At present, lot of time series data is available on MPP relating to capacity, generation, transmission, and distribution. With the digitization of feeders, supply position and AT&C losses from around 1,45,000 rural and urban feeders is being projected on the portal, which helps in decision making for higher authorities. Billing efficiency, collection efficiency, input energy, average billing rate, and feeder severity index helps to determine the quality of power supply. Outages, number of power failures, and the duration of power failures provide information about the availability of electricity at feeder, TAU, DISCOM level. Currently, the outages with respect to rural and urban feeder is collected on monthly basis. As a first prototype of AI modeling, deep learning has been attempted by NIC to see the power outage trends and make predictions for the next subsequent months from the attributes captured. An accurate prediction of the duration of power failures for the upcoming months can help the authorities to minimize the possible risk which may cause such outages. Smart mobility. The machine learning is here still narrow AI. For autonomous driving, we require image recognition with millions of parameters and reinforcement learning at the edge and is at research level still. However, emotion and gesture recognition of drivers can be utilized for keeping a driver alert and avoid accidents, control road rage, etc. Similarly, prediction of availability of bus at bus stops can be done based on road traffic as well as diversity of traffic on real-time basis in case of obstacle. Cutting toll fees on road usage automatically without needing people to stop by toll booths are some of the options that can be effectively used. Similarly, there can be AI optimized user centric insurance depending on how many traffic tickets the person has got, ensuring more disciplined traffic. This can be explored. NIC has also facilitated virtual codes for payment of traffic fine online using this vehicle number plate recognition. Actually, and people don't have to visit a court if the offender wants to pay up. It is working in Delhi, Faridabad, Chennai, Pune, Ernakulam, and Bangalore. What about the AI computer infrastructure? From government perspective, there can be many applications like for administration. From administration point of view, we can facilitate facial recognition based group attendance system for skilling trainees along with gesture recognition, etc. for multi-factor authentication without having to touch any biometric devices in COVID times. In case of ICDS scheme, it can be just count of children in photos where the meals are distributed. We can have face verification for life certificate pensioners or to prevent fudging of candidates in exams like for driving license, etc. Automated text models can be used for form document content matching where there are millions of candidates appearing for some post and it becomes tedious for human beings to physically go through tens of documents for each candidate. At present, there is Cambrian explosion of data in unstructured data in audio, visual, and text format. So, where do we get the compute? As problems in vision and text are naturally computationally resource intensive model building exercise. You may look out for AI cloud infra being made available by many global companies. And NIC and other IT savvy organizations are also facilitating AI cloud based development and inferencing platform for government sector, academics, and researchers, etc. Future of work and ethics. AI has already obtained ubiquity with smartphones and smart assistants. AI and deep learning has made the systems more intelligent and able to make predictions without explicitly being programmed for a task relying on the patterns in the data. However, precisely this makes it also obscure as it learns complex non-linear functions with millions of parameters, much like our brain. But precisely for this reason, we need to scrutinize the data that we are using to build these models. Data is the fuel for AI. Strong systems and policies and mechanisms should be in place to able to scrutinize the data that are being fed to the models. Data should be unbiased and reflect equal number of people from all categories and groups so that the model does not tilt. If there are more blacks being penalized than whites, then when AI model is predicting fines, it is more likely to penalize a black for the same as there are more records on blacks than that it is trained on. This is just an example that can help us understand the perils of AI. It highlights the need for national conversation on AI, on how to build and adopt these technologies. There is the next is the R&D. Since AI is an emerging technology, lot of research is going on in these fields in diverse areas. Our need is to focus on topics which brings more inclusion in our society. That is in the sector of agriculture, health, and education. AI-based learning in these sectors will have larger impact on economy and general well-being of citizens. Proactive development of institutions and policies that encourage competition, data sharing, and openness is likely to be an important determinant of economic gains for the development and application of deep learning. Our R&D should be such that it fuels innovation in these sectors as well as cross-domain. Also, by avoiding human bias, AI may help up open new paths and help influence building better governance policies to mitigate human distress through natural disasters and man-made ones. Summarizing, so with this note, I would like to conclude that for the next 5 years, our strategy should be to do SWOT analysis of our capabilities and weaknesses, do pre-strategy consultation, and collaborate when required, Set goals and targets with respect to capacity building of your users. Invest in resources, skilling and adoption of AI across the organization, research, etc. And accordingly allocate budget, estimate timelines, role allocation, assess data quality and enterprise data architecture, build robust data repository and metadata structure to collaborate, etc. For building quality AI applications within domains, then facilitate public use of cross-domain AI applications and build ecosystems to sustain them, as mentioned just now. Thank you. Stay healthy, stay safe.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dasgupta, for joining us and giving us your incredible knowledge on this forum. Thank you once again, ma'am.